Welcome back to the Marketing Ninja Podcast with Manuel Suarez, CEO of Attention-Grabbing Media and author of #1 bestseller, Marketing Magic.
Don't think that because your grandpa built a business a certain way, you have to build it a certain way. You gotta be looking at right now. I'm gonna give you a lot of data about how to build a business without having an advertising budget. If that's something that feels like right down your alley, like you're trying to grow a business from scratch and you don't have a lot of money to spend or you don't have a big budget to go with, this episode is gonna be for you. The first thing is that you have to be opportunity obsessed. People talk about obsession as a bad thing or like, you're obsessed, you gotta make sure that you enjoy life, life is short, take advantage of it and whatever. But I can tell you something, being broke throughout life doesn't feel like a short life. Feels like a very long one. I was looking at my kids and we didn't have a lot of money and I had to figure out how do I provide for them. I got no money. My average savings account had about $100 every time. But I can tell you one thing, I was hungry for that opportunity. I was actually looking for it. If you look at one of the points over here, it says always looking. Another point is positivity. Another point is creativeness. So when I combine all these 4 elements right here, I found myself an opportunity. And what was that opportunity? I had a fellow co-worker that was actually selling bed sheets on the streets every weekend as an additional side hustle for him because he wasn't making enough money on his work, on his 9 to 5. At the same time, I saw people buying on Amazon all the time. And I said, that's interesting. There was something going on here that was feeling like an opportunity. I was then shortly introduced to the subject of Amazon Prime and Fulfilled by Amazon. And that started feeling like this is the opportunity right here because all I gotta do is go to Amazon, create an account in there, set myself up as a seller on Amazon, and they have pretty much unlimited traffic. I saw that as an opportunity. I brought this co-worker home and I said, let me see your bed sheets. And I opened them up and I looked for a brand name and I could not find a brand name attached to the sheets itself. They were actually branded Clara Clark, but how were they branded? They had a big label on top of them that all you gotta do was open up the bedsheet and remove the label and there's no more any brands. So I took that as a great opportunity for me to be able to build our own private label brand. So I got my fellow co-worker to give me $40 and we went and we hired a designer, which you all have access to. And we paid the designer $40 to build us a logo. And that was the Cozy House logo. My friend, my coworker, who's actually still with me today, is one of my partners, he actually did not have to pay for this inventory. He had a person give him the inventory consignment. Imagine how big of the opportunity that was. I took that inventory that did not cost me a penny because I was always looking and because I was opportunity obsessed and because I was creative, and I shipped it to Amazon and I optimized the listings and I started creating listings and images and graphics and everything, and it was like incredible. Suddenly it starts printing money. A few months into it, $100,000 a month. And then we kept on scaling and eventually we started ordering containers from China. Now, to get into the practical elements of it, content on social media platforms is the biggest opportunity. Going to social media and posting consistently every day on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and Pinterest and Snapchat and podcasts and so on, it's an opportunity that our ancestors did not have. We can press buttons and get attention. And the name of the game is attention, so much so that my company's name Attention-Grabbing Media. You want to be able to get attention, and these social media platforms are the path for you to be able to get attention. So if you over-communicate obsessively, and you do this because why? You are opportunity obsessed, then you'll be able to eventually build a business on the back of your content. Because if your content is good, it will take off. If your content is not good, it will still take off. It's just gonna take longer. That's the way it is. Historical contacts. This is another thing that you have access to that most of us take for granted. You have a cell phone. Most of you have had a cell phone for the same several decades. Just like I've had the same phone for 20 years, same number. People that contacted me 17 years ago, they can still contact me today. My phone number has not changed. So that's a very big opportunity right there, because you got not only your phone numbers, you also got your emails. Example, if you have a Gmail account, you have been using Gmail for probably a long time. There's people that 7 years ago, they emailed you and you still have them in your contacts. So being able to bring them back to life, this is a way that you can launch a brand without having to spend your resources. Go into your contacts. Email lists, for example, is something that you will have access to, that as you build your brand, that there's brands out there that sustain themselves with their email lists. I myself, for example, in my company called NaturalSlim, I could live off of this, but I'm not satisfied because I want to keep on growing. I have a list of millions of people that have come into my world over the years to get the value from our brand. They keep on buying from us all the time, but I keep on growing that list because it's an obsession that I have to keep on growing this business. But just having an email list is a major part of an organization's success, even without having current advertising budgets. Old school door knocking, when you don't have any of these other things going on, when all else fails, you have a great product and a great service, you can actually go and talk to human beings in the old school way. Go and show up. Talk to your neighbors about it. Go to a business. Introduce your abilities to them, your services and your products to what you can do for them. Introduce it to them. Be old school. People still like to talk to others. People are still social. You can get attention in business just by being old school. Collaborations, a very vital thing that happens all the time. There are social media platforms full of brands that will be happy to exchange collaborations with you. All you got to do is go out there and look for them, search for them, send them a message, and find out if they're interested in a collaboration. They promote you, you promote them. You have a similar following, you have a similar size, and you can exchange that without having to pay a penny on advertising. That's an important one. Word of mouth has historically been the most important marketing avenue for businesses worldwide, right? Because that's nothing like that. You deliver superior services, exceptional services, you'll be able to actually get a lot of word of mouth. Very, very important. So these are basics of how do you do this. In my case, I actually found a massive opportunity by having a network, and that will be something that I would add over here, in which I was able to look at it and see an opportunity inside of it. In my network, AKA my coworker, I saw somebody else that was selling something that I could potentially put on the internet. And I introduced my abilities as a marketer, and I said, let me do this. I'll put it on the internet. I'll make it successful. I put the sweat equity, you give me the inventory, and we'll build a great business together. Don't think that because your grandpa built a business a certain way, you have to build it a certain way. You got to be looking at right now.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, go ahead, leave us a review and subscribe to tune in for future episodes. And if you're looking for a team that'll go above and beyond for you and your brand, go to talktoaninja.com today.